fight over the filibuster. That's what we'll talk about in today's video. Next week, and in the next 2 weeks, there's going to be a crucial decision made in the United States Senate. Harry Reid is attempting to limit the ability of Republican senators, or any future senators, to filibuster bills. As you know, the filibuster used to be something that was only used for civil rights bills by the South. But then by the 1990s, it became routine. And right now, no bill, no matter what, is brought up in the United States Senate unless it has 60 votes for passage. It really has functionally raised the requirement from 51 votes, or 50 with the vice president breaking the tie, up to 60 votes. And I believe that Reid has a basic point. The filibuster is undemocratic, and majority rule should mean majority rule. But on the other hand, we don't want to throw away any kind of check and balance on the Obama administration, and we've already seen how tenuous a reed the House of Representative Republicans are to rely upon. So we don't want to get rid of the filibuster rule entirely. But the proposals that Reid is making, some of them are good and some of them are bad. The bad one is that it eliminates the filibuster on all nominations. That will permit Obama to put every leftist you can imagine onto the district court, the circuit court, and eventually the Supreme Court. And it is very important that on some of those designations we be able to require 60 votes. So I'm against that. A second thing he wants to do is to say you can only filibuster a bill once. That is, there are now 4 opportunities to filibuster a bill. Filibuster the motion to bring it up, filibuster the bill, filibuster the motion to send it to conference, filibuster the final conference report. And that's ridiculous. It's unnecessary gridlock in the Senate. We do need the right to filibuster. We do need the right on important bills to require 60 votes, but I think just once. And then there's another reform that I've been advocating for 25 years, which is the filibuster should have to be a talking filibuster. Right now you have kind of a virtual filibuster, which is McConnell meets with Reid, and Reid says, do I have 60 votes for this bill? And McConnell says, well, I think there'll be 5 or 6 Republicans, and he says, well, I don't have enough Democrats. We don't have 60 votes. We're not going to bring this bill up. And that's how the filibusters are conducted. What they used to have to do during the civil rights days was stand on their feet and talk 24/7. And quorum calls would be held during the middle of the night. So senators had to camp outside on cots outside of the Senate chamber and come in at 2 in the morning and show that there was a quorum present. And it was a real battle of strength. And what happened was the whole country would focus on it. Nothing else would go on. And everybody focused on whether these civil rights bills were going to pass or not. Well, I think that we should only have the filibuster in extraordinary cases. I don't think it should be used on everything. I don't think it should be routine. I think that violates the Constitution and is undemocratic. I think talking filibusters should be required. If it's important enough to require 60 votes, it should be important enough to stand up and debate it and let the country watch it on C-SPAN and let them come to a conclusion as to how they feel about it. The other change that Reid recommends I don't think is significant. It's as opposed to letting 60 senators vote to close debate, 41 need to vote to continue debate. I don't think that means a whole lot. But it's very important that we don't let Reid go further. Very important that we don't eliminate the filibuster. The problem is that Reid is negotiating with McConnell on a bipartisan package, and I hope they tailor it along some of the lines we've talked about today. But if McConnell doesn't go along, at the start of the Senate session, the majority of 51 votes can impose any filibuster rule it wants, because the rules haven't been set in place, and you can't filibuster the rules until the rules are adopted. Filibuster under the rules till the rules are adopted. The rules of the last Senate don't carry into the next one. And that really is a nuclear option. And we have to be certain that Reid doesn't use that to deprive us entirely of the right to hold up legislation unless there are 60 votes. But some needed reforms make some sense. Thanks a lot.